Today on The Right Slant, we're breaking down exactly how gun confiscation happens in Tennessee, what your rights are, and the legal steps you can take to get your firearm returned. Whether your gun was taken after an arrest, during a domestic incident, under a court order, or even because police considered you a danger to yourself or others, Tennessee law outlines specific procedures you can use to get your firearm back. In the next few minutes, I'll walk you through those rules, real Tennessee case examples, and the paperwork you'll need. So let's get started. In Tennessee, firearms can be confiscated for several specific reasons. Here are the most common. Arrests involving weapons, especially charges like aggravated assault or unlawful carrying. Domestic violence incidents, where officers must separate weapons for immediate safety. Orders of protection, particularly when a judge issues a temporary or extended protection order. Mental health holds when someone is taken into custody for an emergency evaluation under Tennessee Code, annotated Section 33-6-402. Evidence in an investigation, even when you are not charged. Each category has different rules for return, and failing to follow the correct process is the #1 reason people never get their firearms back. The main Tennessee law that governs returning seized firearms is TCA Section 39-17-1317. This statute states that once a case is resolved, whether through dismissal, acquittal, or completion of sentencing, the owner has the right to petition for the return of the firearm unless they are prohibited from possessing one under state or federal law. If the gun was taken as evidence, but no charges were filed, Tennessee courts have held that the owner can file a motion for return of property, and the judge must determine: was the seizure lawful? Is the firearm still needed as evidence? Is the owner legally allowed to possess firearms? If the answer to those favors the owner, the court must order the firearm returned. To get your firearm back in Tennessee, here are the steps depending on your situation. 1. If the gun was taken during an arrest. Once your case is closed, file a motion for return of property in the same court where the case was heard. Attach proof that you're legally eligible to own firearms. 2. If the gun was taken in a domestic violence incident. If an order of protection was issued, the weapon cannot be returned until the order expires or is dismissed. Tennessee requires surrender during the order, but mandates return once legally eligible. 3. If the gun was seized under a mental health hold. Under TCA Section 33-6-402, firearms are temporarily removed for safety. They can be returned once the evaluation is complete, there is no court-ordered prohibition, and you provide identification and proof of ownership. 4. If the gun was evidence. You may need a court order even if you were never charged. Law enforcement cannot return the weapon without judicial approval. And by the way, if you're finding this helpful, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update from The Right Slant. Case example number 1, State versus Rowland. Facts: police seized firearms during a domestic violence investigation. Rowland was acquitted, but the sheriff refused to return the guns. Court ruling: the court held that once the defendant is legally eligible and the case is resolved, the firearms must be returned. Agencies cannot keep them without a court order or statutory authority. Lesson for viewers: acquittal restores your right to reclaim lawfully owned firearms. Case example number 2, Worley versus State. Facts: Worley petitioned the court for the return of firearms seized as evidence, but the state argued they needed the guns indefinitely. Court ruling: the court ruled the state must show continuing evidentiary need. Unsupported claims are not enough. Lesson: if the state cannot prove the firearm is still needed, the judge must order its return. Before you request your firearm back, here are the items Tennessee courts typically require. Heavy check-marked government-issued ID. Heavy check-mark proof of ownership. Heavy check-mark case disposition documents. Heavy check-mark proof of firearm eligibility. Heavy check-mark a formal motion filed in the correct court. Once the judge signs the order, take it to the law enforcement agency holding your weapon. They're required to release it. Tennessee law gives you a clear path to reclaiming your firearm after it's been confiscated, but only if you follow the right legal steps. If this video helped you understand the process, be sure to like, Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future updates from the Right Slant. Thanks for watching and stay informed.